Welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast library for the white papers. And today's to, today's podcast on this particular white paper is exciting and frustrating at the same time. Why is that, Mark? Thanks for asking. It's like, have you ever known something that's life changing and it could change people's lives and they just don't get it? I've never had that, Mark. Really? Oh yeah, I've had that all the time, Mark. Really? Um, and so why is it that it's hard, Cheryl and Mary Jo, to participate in the conversation with me on these questions? Is it that you both have never thought about these questions, or?
I was actually just getting ready to say I've actually had that happen. That you think of something and somebody just that however you worded the question, that you know of something that would help them. Yeah.
And they just
They
don't
just
get
don't seem to get it. Yeah.
yeah, they just don't get it. And so there was a mom that called me this week, and she has an 18-year-old son. She has a number of kids, but she has an 18-year-old son, and she's trying to get the 18-year-old son to join the 5:30, 5:30 Friday call for young men, podcast for young men. And and I'm like, really, dude? Like, you got this awesome mom, and it's weird because she's like, Mark, I'm I'm failing. I'm not doing, I'm not succeeding in it. And it's like she's taking ownership for him showing up to something that will help him. It's not going to help her. It's not for her benefit. It's not to her for her to feel good. It's for his benefit. Like so, she's
So
just being. Go ahead.
why does she think she has to take ownership for that?
Right, because somebody's got to, you know. And I
True.
corrected her, encouraged her. I said, "Well, it's not really your, issue. I mean, but it is, but it's not. She's the mom. She's trying to. I mean, I loved her heart, but I just want to slap the dude. Next time I will, I might. I just slap the dude and say, it's a half an hour once a week. Do you know how much work, your mom does for you, has done for you? Like, were you in the delivery room when you were born? Do you know what she's went through? Like, come on, buddy. Like,
Mhm.
man up. Anyways, that's how I feel with the biggest challenge. It's so frustrating. Oh, Cheryl, what did you get from the white paper?
Actually, a lot of different things, but the main thing I got out of it was just reaching out and helping other people, and that will actually help us.
Right, right,
The one I liked, and I have to internalize that, and maybe you can help me, but having simplicity this side of complexity is
right.
worth nothing. I love that saying, but in all honesty, I'm not at this point, I'm not quite sure. Something about it catches is very catchy. I like it, but like I said, I have to understand it completely.
Right, or just
I'm not
deeper
sure.
than you do now. Like, could you go ahead and synthesize, condense, like white lightning when somebody, moonshine, in their backyard, and they take water and they condense it down into like 99 proof alcohol that's so powerful it would kill you. Like, it's more powerful the more condensed it's down, the more it's down. And so when I'm preparing for this, I'm like, stupid white paper is too long. Like how do I get it to where, and so I might not be able to. That might be fresh set of eyes for you or Mary Jo or others that are participating in this. So Mary Jo for the Coffee Connection, she's going to be taking, I think it's roll 10, which is biggest challenge to income. See, that is a magical role. Mary Jo, did you get a chance to read this before today or not?
I have not, no.
Okay. So, well, Mary Jo, based on what you're saying, Cheryl, and what I'm saying, will she dig into this? Will she print it off, and bring it to the Coffee Connection today?
It is actually already printed off.
Okay. And are you going to bring it today?
It's in the back seat of my car. It's still waiting to be put into my binder.
Okay.
But it'll be with me.
Are you going to bring your binder too?
Mm-hmm.
And then bring your notepad. So Cheryl and I and others can go over and say, talk to Mary Jo and have her look at, look at her notes, look at her 3-ring binder. And is she going to dig into this, and so I talked to Nicole and one other young woman years ago. It was, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And I said, I work with a lot of women. And, I know what men are interested in. I know, sports, cars, women, I know what men are interested. What are women interested in? And one of them said getting married, and the other one said having kids. I thought, yeah, like I wanted to get married, not to be married, just for many of the benefits that come from marriage. And so I'm trying to figure out how do I go ahead, and have a woman look at this like they do a new baby. Have you guys noticed on how women like look at new babies?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's weird for me, a man. I'm like, that's just weird. I don't understand it. It's pretty interesting. I don't want to get too distracted. I might come back around to it. So Cheryl, I love that, that you caught, it's continuing to simplify it. It's continuing to simplify it. Like when Albert Einstein says you can never solve a problem on the level as created, what does it mean? Like people don't think, like they're not thinking.
Mm-hmm.
They're not willing to do the work to get what's needed. Go ahead.
There was also on that same page, there was also one that said a mind stretched by, hang on, a mind stretched by a new idea can never go back to its original dimensions. That's true in like anything, in whatever you're doing. Whether it's business, whether it's personal, whether it's spiritual, whatever.
Yeah, see today's Coffee Connection. There's a part of me that is glad that we don't have 60 people showing up.
Why?
Because the more people that there are, the more focus I have to have on people. Whereas if there's less people, there's just less. And if they can kind of take care of themselves, then I can just be present. I don't have to worry about entertaining people. I don't have to worry about value bringing value. It's like, you're old enough, bring yourself value. Like, I can go there and I can be selfish. I can just focus in, Mark, what's on your heart? Like, like, what are you trying to figure out? What are you struggling with? Like this, the action card is, that's where it's for Coffee Connection. And so, like, people don't realize the magic of this card. And Jemima, like on the, last one, she wanted me to review over the card with her husband. And I wasn't available. I was talking to some other people. So Rosanna slid in, which is great. She slid in and did the best she could. And then, and then she went ahead and then she came over and got me, which is fine too, right? It's all fine. It's all good, but it's significant. And does she and do other people realize the significance of it? Like, and so Jemima, like Rosanna did a good job on it, but she comes over, she says, Jemima wants you to do it. Now, if I was Rosanna, I would be irritated. Like, I just did it. Why do you need my husband? No, not resonating with either of you.
Yeah.
And so if you're irritated, if she's irritated with it, what would she do?
I'm not sure what you would do if you're irritated with it, other than maybe trying to explain it a little bit more. But
Well, that's no, don't do that. Don't, no. That's the problem. Don't want to say with women. That's the problem, though.
okay, why?
More words is not going to get the job done. It's not the words. Explaining it more, that's not the key.
Learn more of it. Learn more
How?
of it.
How?
I don't know. Read over the white papers. Do personality
So
tests.
we're at Coffee Connection. Jemima and her husband's there. Jemima really wants, her husband to, and so she works to get me. I get, I'm gotta have others. Rosanna slides in. So Rosanna comes and gets me, and I go ahead and do, the review. What should Rosanna do?
Stay there and learn what you're doing.
So why didn't she?
I don't know. Probably because she was frustrated that hers wasn't good enough, or I don't know. I don't know.
Isn't that weird to you, Cheryl?
That she didn't stay there, or that Jemima's husband needed you to do it.
No, that she didn't stay there.
Honestly, yes and no. If it irritated her enough, that's possibly why she walked away. On the other hand, if it would have irritated her enough, then she would have for the next time.
Yeah, so I just, so I do it and she doesn't watch, which is whatever. It's like it's fine. And then at the end he said, honestly, Mark, if you hadn't come over and did what you did, I wouldn't come back to Coffee Connection again.
And I remember that you said that about him. So
Yeah.
why did he feel like that? Like, what is it, because Jemima made such a big deal of Mark?
Right.
Or yeah, I don't know.
So, so to me, it's just weird. It's just all weird. Why are you laughing?
I hope I'm laughing with you because it's weird to me too.
Yeah, and that's what's weird. Like women do this a lot to me. Like they're laughing, and I'm like, "Why are you laughing?" They're like, "I'm laughing with you," and I'm like, "But I'm not laughing." Like,
That's why I said I hope I'm laughing with you because
right,
it is people are weird.
right, and it's like, and it's weird that Cheryl doesn't know I'm not laughing. Like, can you? Does it look like Mark's laughing? It doesn't look like he's
No,
laughing.
no,
And
he's not.
so, I mean, it's fine. It's just I just don't understand. Like, I would go ahead, and so like like things that we're interested in, like things that we're interested in, like we're really interested in. Like we know them intimately. And is Mark talking about a husband and wife sexually? I don't know if that works for you, then fine. If it if it's a woman with a baby, it's fine. If it's a man with a car, it's fine. I don't care. Like it's just like is there anything that you're just totally into? I mean, I love grandkids. Like they're just relentless. Like they're 2 or 3 years old and they're like, Grandpa, like, look at me. Like they have, like I can't be distracted. Like I have got to be whatever they want me to be. Look at what I've just done, Grandpa. Okay, that's nice, honey. No, Grandpa, look. Like, like, look, Grandpa. Like they won't be denied. It's like, okay, wow, that's really so. So if you're interested in money, making money, bringing value to people, changing people's lives, like, you know, so I don't know. I don't know what words to use to convey, especially to women, you
To
know,
convey to convey what?
to convey what this is. It's a beautiful piece of art. Like I remember when my little girls, my 4 daughters, became teenagers. They became women and they, they when they dressed, up and it's like, holy cow, they're attractive, which is two parts, as a dad. One part is you're terrified. You're like, holy cow. And another part is like, wow, is she attractive? Like she's a beautiful woman. It's like two parts. It's like, and it's like this is just the ability that the action card gives you to look into somebody's life is just absolutely amazing. It's just amazing. It's like you see stuff. Like when a woman sees a baby, she sees something I do not see. I have to be honest. I have to be honest. Um, I have a sense of humor. It's a little weird. Um, and so when Rosanna, when we were first married and then we had Ginger Ann, me being the awesome husband I am, I said, it seemed like she was pretty exhausted caring for the little one. And so she was just a baby. Ginger Ann was just a little baby. And I said, hey, you seem like you need a break. You want me to take Ginger Ann? And I don't know, she and I'll go to you know, take the baby and go to the mall. And Rosanna's like, oh, that would be so nice. That would be so cool. That would be so cool. So I took Ginger Ann to the mall to give Rosanna a break. You know, any of you see where this is going? No. Okay.
Mm,
It's the
mm,
funniest story. I think it's the funniest story. Women often don't, but I think it's the funniest story. So I'm going to the mall and I've got this little cute baby. And what happens? Like, women are drawn to puppies like crazy. Like, you have, as a guy, you want to attract, a chick magnet and have puppies. Women just, babies are even better. Like, I'm telling you, I'm like a Like, I'm like a piece of meat, and there's all these women. They all come up to me and they're like, "Oh, and so naturally, what am I going to do? Naturally, I'm gonna, I got a sense of humor, right?" They're like, "Oh, she's so adorable. What a cute outfit." It's like, yeah, her mother passed away.
Wow, Mark. Wow, Mark.
Just I
Wow.
second that.
Didn't
That's
see that
sad.
coming, huh? Like, you think, like, he had a weird sense of humor. Like, I go home and I tell her that. I'm like, "Honey, I'm going to take her to the mall. Like, you want to break more often? Like, you want to break more often? Man, this is the coolest thing. Like, this is the coolest thing in the world.
I
I've
was,
never experienced
I was
anything."
going to ask, how many times did you take Ginger Ann to the mall after that?
Yeah,
Oh
men
my
are like,
goodness.
yeah, never again alone. Never again alone. And so, like, huh, like, did he do that on purpose? Did he do that to get out of taking her to the mall? But it was just weird. It was just interesting to me. Like, I'm like, huh. And so, like, you know, it's like, and that's how the biggest challenge card is. How you see people, they're just beautiful. People are just beautiful. And there's so many nuances to them, and there's so much that we can help them with. And so all you do is get their biggest challenge, how they say it, what they say, all that kind of stuff is just absolutely amazing. And it's like, so I don't like, I'm excited for Mary Jo. She brings an energy, a passion, an innocence, a trust, something. She brings it to where she just has this trust, you know, and I love that, where she's gonna take this role. She's gonna take this role in the archery, and she's gonna do what I could never do. She just will. I don't know. She just will. Like, she'll go ahead, and I'll sit back and I'll just smile and say that, "You go, girl. Like, you go."
Okay, what
Like,
did you say her role is?
so she's a roll 10. And so roll 10 is going to be the is the biggest challenge.
Okay.
And so that's what each of these white papers have a role in the art tree. Every white paper, that's where the different roles came from, is from the white papers. I mean, it really is magical. I mean, and so when we look at the art tree, so roll 10 is biggest challenge to dollars. But you got to have a founder, get set goals and follow through. And so getting people to show up, 60 people, go after their biggest challenge. Like, that's how you get people to show up. That's the answer right there. That's how you sell people, is go after their biggest challenge. And
You
then
mean to
say,
get him,
go
you
ahead.
mean to get him to come to the coffee connection?
Uh-huh. To get them to do anything. You want somebody to do something. It is the most powerful leverage that you can get. Like, we were talking yesterday, like at the, afternoon on Friday, at the house, and, everybody's laughing except for me. Like, they're all giggling, and and so Luke, he's 19. And so he's very interested in getting a girlfriend. He's very interested in getting married. So that's leverage, him understanding. And so, he could get this amazing, gorgeous dream of a wife, of a woman, because he learns how to ask biggest challenges. And then he learns how to listen. Men don't listen well. They just don't. Women often don't move. They don't use what they hear. They see and sense things that men don't. So men have an advantage in business. They turn stuff into money. Just do. Women have an advantage on men where they're listening and they sense things. And so how do you bring all of that, together? And here in the white paper, like Mary Jo, like when she goes through it, my hope is she gets really excited and she's like, you got to read this to two people. And then she compare notes. Like, what do they see? What did they see that she didn't see? And what does she see that they don't see? And then you go through and you create a ripple. And so it goes through these different pieces. And so there's an entire website out there that's a crazy website. But the stupid thing didn't work. But man, is it cool. There's just so much here. And it's like you go through it, I don't know, once, and then you go through it again. And so, here's the steps. Step one is examination. Step two is a strategy session. Step three is solution. Step four is to commit. Step five is to do. Step six is to think. And step seven is to see. And then you click on each one of these, and now all of a sudden, then it goes into the personalities. And then each of these personalities has a story. And you read their testimonial, and it moves people. But I spent hundreds of hours creating this. And the stupid thing didn't work. But it doesn't matter. It's the process, it's the journey. And so, questions or thoughts?
No.
I don't know how to get all of you. I don't know how to get all of you to see what I see. But
What do you mean?
so I was 27 years old. And I went from at 23 years old, I made $1 an hour in straight commission sales.
Right.
And within 12, 15 months, I was making over $100,000. Within 4 years, I was on track to make $460,000 as a 27-year-old. And you both know me.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that smart. He's really not. He's not that funny. He's not that charming. He loves people, but he doesn't like them. He really doesn't like people. Doesn't like being around them. They bug him. So you see and you say, here's this guy, and he's 27 years old. And I wasn't nearly as charming, then as I am now. And you might say, you're not that charming now. I'm like, right. So you can see where I was when I was 27. So it's like, it's not about the money, but it's cool to make 460,000 a year as a 27-year-old. Let me tell you, it's it's cool to help people and make money doing that. But you gotta learn, and then it goes back into the discipline. It goes back into all of these other, all these other white papers, like the humility of number one, what's in it for me? Like, I'm selfish. How do I make sure that I'm being selfish, and then consistent and committed? How do I do that? And driven and disciplined. And then how do I make sure I'm communicating? And how do I make sure I'm harder on myself than anybody else could ever be? But it never gets to my core. And then how do I become the best student in the world in anything and everything? So all of this builds on the other things. If we don't have this as the foundation, then having the biggest challenge, you get to it when you get to it, but that's not how you make a lot of money. How you make a lot of money is consistent, mind-numbing consistency. Never like I'm going to get one biggest challenge a day, no matter what. No matter what, I'm going to get one biggest challenge a day. I mean, it's setting that in place. So hopefully, hopefully this has been a helpful podcast for you all. Connect with Mary Jo about it. She's going to dig into it. This is going to be her role. She's going to own it, control it. She's going to dominate it. It's going to be magical, not only for her, but for you. And then you share what you're learning and how you're passionate about your role. Like I am a passionate man. Like I am passionate about being the best husband in the world to my wife, even after 40 years of marriage. I am passionate about being, an amazing father to my 7 kids, and being an amazing grandfather to my 10 grandkids. And like anything I do, like why would I not want to be the very best of the very best at anything I do? Like, to become who I was created to be. So if you have any questions, connect with the individual who invited you to participate. Make sure you're sharing this with at least 2 other people, right? Your art mentor and your 2 art buddies, so 3 people, and then talk to them about that. They'll see things you won't. You'll see things they won't. Together, we truly can accomplish so much more than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. See you at the coffee.